Hello, my friends, and welcome. I'm going to pop a screen share up right away. Welcome to the 2023 Sanctuary in the Woods virtual annual meeting. Now, while you know and I know it's 2024, it is 2024 when we actually look back at the story of 2023 and tell that story. And I want to just welcome you. My name is Jo Bell, one of the team here at Sanctuary in the Woods. I'm going to join with my fabulous colleagues here, Barb, and then my gorgeous wife in the middle, Cheryl, Papa Ken, and Tom, and Kristen Vandermeer. She's our newest partner on our team, but Kristen hasn't been here yet to get her picture on the stone. So Kristen, find an airplane, come on down. Okay, we're waiting for you. Anyway, the first thing I want to say is it's always good for us to review our year and to turn it into a story that we can share with you. Each spring, we return to what has really, truly become a spiritual practice for us to look back and understand even more deeply how important this looking back is to reflect upon the story of our previous year. And what we do then is we challenge ourselves to count that year as a bar of sorts, and then we want to raise that bar as it's our goal to live each year even more deeply into continuing to become a community and a place on site and online where we gather with each other, lovingly supporting, challenging each other, growing and laughing with each other, and having conversations that invite us each into the mission of Sanctuary, which is to become a people who are rested and refreshed, people who can reframe the circumstances of our lives and of the world, and people who can become even more evolved and conscious and caring, powerful humans, and go back and engage our communities. Now, speaking of community, we have founded Sanctuary on the principles of koinonia, which is a community that shares and partners and companions all who participate in it. Koinonia is a term that connotes friendship at the highest level. And we wanted to shout out today one of our friends of Sanctuary and the woman who actually gifted us, Tony and her partner Leanna, this beautiful stone that as you drive into Sanctuary, it greets all of you who drive in through our front gates. Today is Tony's birthday. And even though she couldn't be here, she was here with us in Easter, and she was amazed at all the transformation that had occurred since she'd been on property last. And she wanted to send us her blessings, and we send that back to you. Happy birthday to Tony. Now, our second celebration is of a leader in our community. Ellen Hurst was first and foremost a creative. We all so enjoyed the photography she captured of wildlife, of birds, of animals, of everything she could. She called it #nature from a deck. She was also a wonderfully fun and generous member of every one of our Sanctuary at Sea cruise teams we've had, including our 2024 team, even when she knew that she wouldn't be boarding the ship with us in November. Ellen was the director of dream fulfillment for a favorite nonprofit of ours. It's called DARN, or Denmark's Animal Refuge Network. She helped Denise and Mary save and house countless puppies and kitties, animals of all sorts who were in need of shelter and good homes. And in Ellen's last few months, she was surrounded by concentric circles of love, and we at Sanctuary were honored to be one of those circles. Her very inner circle, Amy Randolph, Denise Bain, Mary Pretty, were simply and incomprehensibly intertwined in every step of Ellen's transition. And we ask your continued prayer support as they move forward managing Ellen's legacy. And speaking of that legacy, today we're able to, and we're blessed to be able to announce that our Sanctuary board has been in conversation with Ellen and that inner circle for some time. And we are committed and today can announce that we'll be creating a permanent interactive memorial to Ellen on the Sanctuary property. We're going to share a little more about that as details emerge. Whew, I'm glad to have gotten through that. Ellen lived life very large, be it her philanthropy, be it her photography, and simply everything and everyone she touched you from a very deep place within you. Her energy just emanated from her huge heart, her profound spirituality. Her celebration of life is going to take place on May 4th at 11:11, and it'll be live streamed. If you'd like the link, please go to the chat, put your name, and just type Ellen in there, and we'll get details to you as they become available. If you'd like to honor, those of you who know Ellen, like to honor her in your life, she was asking that you would make a donation to Denmark Animal Refuge Network. And so, Barb, you're going to put that in the chat as well today so folks can grab that link. And one final bit of celebrating our community. Many of you know that we began 2023 a little bit slow on our calendar. And that was because our dear Papa Ken was undergoing chemo and radiation therapy to deal with the diagnosis of cancer. So during that time here at Sanctuary, it was all hands on deck. So we were able to pull together. And that includes many of you. We know and we felt you praying for Ken and praying for his care team. And I am beyond blessed once again to be able to share with you today that at the end of this month, Ken is going to walk into the hospital for some minor tests, and he's going to walk out and he's going to ring the bell. Can we just come on, Ken? You know, we're so happy for you, Ken. And we all knew that cancer had picked the wrong guy to mess with some time ago. But it's great to see, as Cheryl and I are enjoying our morning coffee, Ken's already out at the pool, checking the plants, checking the gardens. Just fabulous. So over the next hour, Ken and Kristen and Cheryl and Barb and I are going to take turns sharing all of the exciting progress we've made during 2023. We're going to give you a little peek into 2024 because our calendar today at Sanctuary is more full than it ever has been at this time in our year. And you're going to hear a theme today, which is very intentional on our part. With every person's presentation, you're going to hear something around enhancing our capacity or capacity building or expanding our reach. Because all of this that we're doing is tied to what I said a moment ago. We are leveraging an amazing 2023 into an even more amazing 2024, both on site and online. And please know that for those of you who are close, we are always ecstatic to invite you to the property. And for those of you who are in our virtual and our international community, we are fully committed to continuing to offer a virtual path to Sanctuary as well. And just before we start, a little bit of admin, and I'm going to turn this over to Ken to start us up. Any questions at all, go ahead and tag those into the chat. We've got folks monitoring the chat, and we'll grab those and address those as we can. In the middle of the presentation, if we're doing pretty good on time, pretty sure you won't be, but just in case we are, we can stop and pause and grab some questions there. Otherwise, we're happy to remain after the formal presentation, which should be just about an hour, and answer any questions or even just chat a bit with any of those who would like to. So with no further ado, Papa Ken Martin, would you please tell these fine people a little bit about what we've done last year?
Yeah, thank you, Joe, and welcome everybody. And I also just want to say thank you to everybody who was praying for and supporting me this time. Last year, I was just finishing with all that chemo, and many of you have experienced this yourselves and with people that you love. And you know how wonderful it is when you can ring that bell and just say you're cancer free and you can go back to your life again. And you are my life. Sanctuary is my life right now. And it's the greatest feeling in the world to be able to do that. As Joby said, I want to summarize for you basically what our activities were in 2023 and then introduce you to our very exciting theme for 2024. And I want to begin with what we think is an important observation about the balance between our on-site, off-site, and online activities during the last few years. When we created Sanctuary, the first activities and events that we all took place right here on this property. But then, like other organizations responding to COVID, we shifted online so that by 2020 and 2021, almost 100% of everything that we did was actually online. And what most of you, some of you know at least, is that that included our producing 75 Tuesday evening programs designed to inform and to entertain and to inspire. We had a program every week reaching an average of over 50 people a week all over the United States and even several different countries. And as we continued that programming with our book club and with sanctuary kitchen shows and other specialty shows, we have now logged more than 100 sanctuary online programs, and they are all archived and they're all available on our Sanctuary Online YouTube channel. So as we emerged from COVID, we estimate that in 2022, 75% of all our activities remained online, but about 25% of them returned here on site to this property. And then last year in 2023, all of that shifted again as the whole world began to emerge from the pandemic, and that balance shifted to about 50-50. So about 50% of our activities were online and about 50% were on site. And now, as we continue to respond to the needs and especially to the requests of our constituent communities, we estimate that this year, 75% of our activities are actually going to return to the property on site, while about 25% of them are going to remain online. For example, so far this year, we already have more scheduled events confirmed and inquiries about events on site than we did all of last year. So as we host more and more different groups, their positive word of mouth about their experiences with us introduce us to even more opportunities to host even more new groups. For example, here's just one quote from one response from one event that we hosted last year. Quote, "Thank you for making our Prime Timers holiday party a resounding success. Yesterday, while volunteering at the Vivint Food Bank, the guys could not say enough about the beautiful setting, the fabulous Christmas tree and decor, and the amazing hospitality. Thank you all so much." That was from Dr. Paul Dodd. And Paul, we thank you for introducing Sanctuary and this awesome group to each other. So in 2023, our continuing online presence included our monthly book club. Some of you heard discussion about that as we entered in today, and several editions of our Sanctuary Kitchen, while our on-site activities included our annual New Year's Day drop-in, one wedding, hosting a veterans group, hosting a senior citizens group, and our first annual La Posada, which involved a number of children in the wonderful magic of Mary and Joseph's journey as we traveled around our property singing, and then had a marvelous feast to follow. And the children are still talking about that experience. So those online events ranged in size from the smallest one with an attendance of 15 to the largest one with an attendance of 68. Our offsite activities by our staff included my preaching at Uprising Austin and Barb's conducting a board of directors training for Exodus MCC in Abilene, Texas. And in addition to all of that, we also hosted numerous individuals and small groups and families who just came to visit with us, to share meals with us, to enjoy our animals. And speaking of which, from a local donkey rescue that Joby and I heard about 40 miles from here. We went out and we met this new companion for Willie, who is now a part of the sanctuary zoo, as Tom calls it. So Willie has a new companion, and his name is, of course, Nelson. And you can see Nelson there when he first arrived with us. He was kind of skin and bones. He had been horribly abused. And Nelson is now fat and happy and just a part of our menagerie here at Sanctuary. Now, because many of you also have indicated that you would like more communication from us, especially more details about everything that happens here at Sanctuary, and not just the events that might specifically involve you. Our most exciting news, about which you will hear more, is adding Kristen Vandermeer to our staff as our communications lead. So now, in anticipation of larger and larger numbers actually returning to the property in the future, we have made and been able to make a number of very specific kinds of improvements on our property in the last year. And these include completing our really beautiful entryway, installing new outdoor lighting systems in our parking areas and around our pool and around our recreational area. We also added flow, a fountain to our pond, which flow is both a beautiful aesthetic feature, and flow is also an aerator that improves the quality of our water for our fish and for all of our desirable aquatic plants. We also did a major upgrade to our kitchen in 2023 so that we can offer more and higher quality meals for here on site for the groups that are meeting here in day retreats and so forth. And so that we can also upgrade our sanctuary kitchen shows and expanding our already very large organic garden so that even more of our local friends and supporters who, when they come to visit during the growing seasons, can leave with bags of delicious, fresh, and healthy vegetables. And with this expansion of our garden, we can even increase the amount of support that we do to our local food banks here with fresh vegetables and herbs. So in light of all of these shifts and changes, our theme for 2024 is capacity building. This year, while continuing all of our online programs, we are focusing on increasing opportunities for our on-site visitors to be able to engage in both recreational activities as well as meetings and seminars and parties and reunions and retreats and weddings and all of the different experiences that we offer here at Sanctuary. So we want to thank you for your support in 2023. Thanks to your generosity, the generosity of our regular monthly givers, and all the special donations that were made to Sanctuary during the year last year, and all of those of you who created special Facebook fundraisers for us during the year. And Tom and I especially want to thank all of you who contributed to the fundraiser that purchased and planted the beautiful new, more mature tree that welcomes you at the entrance to the property. Thanks to all of you and your generosity. We had a great year in 2023, and now we are able to look forward to continuing to grow and expand in 2024. So thank you. Back to you, Joey.
Thanks, Ken. And you covered a lot there. And what I want to do really quickly is just give people literally a bird's eye view of where all those improvements occurred on the property. If many of you remember last year at our annual meeting, we realized so many of you in our virtual community have never been on property. So we gave you this massive tour, remember, of all the areas of Sanctuary. So if you can remember, now you're kind of like up here in a drone. But Ken mentioned this is the big park over here, and this is our new entrance area just so wonderful. Also, you're going to see later in Cheryl's presentation, we took some huge yucca plants from the front end of the entrance, and we repurposed them and removed them over into a new front yard where the tree for Ken and Tom now lives, and I water joyously as she needs it. Also, way out here is Flo. Flo's we're going to show you a video later on of Flo, but our new fountain, like Ken said, not only above the water, but below the water, making a difference. We put lights in our parking area, in our recreation area that we're building out in 2024, and also around our pool in the back porch area. It's just a wonderful expansion. The kitchen looks fabulous. I'm going to invite you right now to our next sanctuary kitchen. We've already used it so many times with the events that Ken shared coming out. And then we've again expanded, that's the word you're going to hear a lot, our 2 organic garden beds that are way out here. Here are the goatees and here are the gardens. So a little bit of a bird's eye view for those of you who have not been on the property. But I'm going to stop doing this. I'm incredibly excited to introduce you to my friend Kristen, and now your friend Kristen. Kristen Vandermeer and I, oh my goodness, Kristen, we've known each other, let's just say for a while. I mean, we were children, okay? But Kristen and I used to work in a bank together, and before she tells you about our new and improved holistic and wonderful communication plan, I want to tell you a bit about Kristen and why she's a perfect fit for this important volunteer role. So Kristen is an entrepreneur. We've been in multiple different personal development endeavors together. She's deeply passionate about self-development and so fits perfectly into our community. She's recently launched a new business called KVDM Consulting, and an online business with the focus of helping young adults align their finances with their values. Can we just get a bit of applause for that? Because I could have used that when I was 18, Kristen, or 35, you know. So earlier in 2023, we were at our board retreat, and we were reviewing what we did really well and what we were not doing really so well. And we acknowledged that one area that we really needed to engage, up our game was in the area of communicating to all y'all, all of the great things that are happening at Sanctuary across all of our platforms. We have email, we have text, we have Facebook and Instagram and our website. So we drafted a job description to add someone that was just silly skilled in these areas to our team. And then we read the job description, and all of us kind of looked at each other and said, Kristen. We could have put her name right on top of the job description. And so we called her, and I'll tell you what, Kristen gave the answer that every nonprofit hopes to hear when they ask someone for help. She said, I've honestly been waiting to contribute in just this way to a nonprofit that I love. Where better than Sanctuary in the Woods? And Kristen, every time I read that line in my rehearsals, I know I shiver and I start to cry. We love the spark you have brought to our communications and our team already. We've gotten feedback. Cynthia, I think, was on here. I saw a little bit ago. Cynthia was one of the first ones who noticed that we were communicating more and telling folks what we were doing. So, man, Kristen, we just love that you're here. And we really do look forward to you kicking our butts and helping us to communicate all the wonderful things that are happening as we move forward. My friend, all yours.
Thanks, Joe. And I'll just add, I'm glad you had that slide so I didn't have to go back and clarify that Nelson was the one on the left of the earlier slide. But with that, I want to ask all of you a question. If a tree falls in the forest and there's no one to hear it, does it make a sound? It may be a question of science or a question of philosophy, but with great respect to a few fallen trees on the sanctuary property, I suggest the most candid answer is it doesn't freaking matter. You only care if you hear it. Yeah. Now, in point of fact, you're going to hear today how the loss of a favorite tree on property maintained its centerpiece status in the recreation area. But will you only hear about that today on our annual meeting? The death of this physical tree was about to drastically change an important space where Sanctuary holds events. The time and the funds spent on the tree site turned a potential problem into a benefit. And you'll hear more about that today. It's my goal you'll follow the story as it develops. You likely receive a barrage of messages year-round, social media, direct messages on apps, emails, texts, even phone calls, all calling your attention to numerous worthy causes. But a community to which you feel connected is likely a community to which you will return, physically or virtually, and one that you can be proud to support. So at Sanctuary in the Woods, we're working on making sure you hear our trees fall, although we really hope that that's just metaphorical from here on out. So far, we've done better. We're committed to improving our consistency. My main focus is going to be on the Sanctuary Facebook page. I consider it not just my role to post, but to lovingly nudge our board members to keep me informed so I can share more with the broader community. So what should you look for? First off, event invitations on Facebook. Book club in particular will be set up as a Facebook virtual event. You don't have to RSVP to attend, but here's how RSVPing helps. You add the event to your calendar. You'll get a reminder from Facebook for the meeting. You can let your friends know what you're doing and share the community. You can easily repost and invite others, whether they already follow the Sanctuary in the Woods Facebook page or not. And you can remind all of the favorites that the meeting's coming so they can come and help further grow the community. Also look for virtual events like Sanctuary in the Kitchen and other future programming that's available to the public to be set up as Facebook event invitations. And you can keep an eye out for some in-person events that are open to the public as well. By RSVPing online, you can really help the team prepare, and you can spread the word to others in the area who may be interested and not even know about us and our beautiful property. Look for pictures. So many pictures. Pictures from on-site events like Posada back in December, pictures of new donkeys and goats. So many baby goats. Look for pictures of friends from near and far who come to visit the property, and pictures of the groups that are making use of all the enhanced property features you're hearing about today. Maybe some axe throwing, maybe some peaceful gardening. You'll want to keep an eye out for pictures of the holiday celebrations, from Tom's famous Christmas decorations to the Arbor Day celebrations. Guys, are we doing anything for Arbor Day, or did I take the tree metaphor too far?
Yes, yes.
Okay, maybe not that one. But don't forget Sanctuary at Sea. Keep an eye on Facebook for additional information as we get closer and closer. And of course, you'll want to follow the pictures and updates that will be shared from our Sanctuary cruisers while they're off at sea. Now, the rest of us can live life vicariously, or I could remind you that cabins are still available, and you'll hear more about that later as well. It's my personal hope and my goal to post something weekly. Admittedly, we're not yet consistent, but 2024 is our goal. So I encourage each of you to do the following, and you'll see Joby sharing the slide here. Be sure to like and follow, both like and follow the Sanctuary in the Woods Facebook page. And then interact with posts and comments. Like, love, care, share your thoughts. This helps to boost the page's power and we reach further. Now, right now, I can see you're thinking of someone you meant to tell about Sanctuary. So share that Facebook page with your friends, your family, and your other communities. It's the easiest way to spread our message to rest and refresh with a loving and supportive community. If there's something you want to hear about, send us a message through Facebook Messenger. Joe, Barb, and I all have access to see your messages there and can get back to you quickly. I'm so grateful I found this group when I did. Although Joe and I have known each other for a very long time, our paths had moved apart. It was a Facebook post about the book club that brought me back in. Now that I'm a part of a team, I see it as my mission to pass that gift along. So keep your eyes open for more from me, and I'll keep my ears open to what updates you'd like to hear. So thanks for listening to me, and I'll toss it back to Joe.
Thank you, Kristen. And I'm going to toss it right out to Cheryl. Cheryl, Ken gave us this fabulous overview of both online and on-site what we've done in 2023. I'd love you to deepen the folks' understandings of all the progress on site.
Thank you, Joe, and I'll do that. So last year, we shared with you that we were exploring ideas to leverage the property and the assets and abilities we already have on this side of the pond. The pond itself was a good start. Your 2021 Giving Tuesday donations helped us to expand and deepen the pond. What we knew was that we wanted to continue to protect and beautify it. So your 2022 Giving Tuesday donations gave us the funds to do that, to purchase and install Flow, the solar aeration system Ken spoke of. We purchased the materials, and then my brother-in-law, Michael, installed the whole thing, from digging a hole to cement the pole for the solar array, to building the solar panels, to wiring and connecting the pump, and finally placing the pump in the perfect place in our pond. As I watched him work, I was amazed at how he thought of every little detail along the way. Finally, he flipped the switch and we watched. The sun and the solar panels kicked in, and Flow, our beautiful fountain, sprang to life. We were ecstatic. And not only is Flow beautiful to look at, you can hear her from all over Sanctuary. Last spring, Ken would go lay by the pool just to listen to her and experience the peaceful, healing sound of her water springing up. That sound, that beauty, that aeration is making the environment safe and friendly for our fish and turtles and the donkeys and ducks and geese. Thank you, Michael. And so, friends, your donation dollars purchase Flow, and Michael's careful and caring installation saved Sanctuary hundreds of dollars. We are so very grateful for all of you. Next, we applied for and then purchased 3 grass carp. Now, though they're not as visible, they quietly vacuum the floor of the pond and help keep the water clean. And of course, we stocked the pond with a few more catfish and bluegill. We currently have several large 18-inch catfish that need to be caught, cleaned, and fried. You want to join us for a fish fry? We're thinking maybe this fall, a fishing derby and a fry. In May of 2023, we went on our first ever Sanctuary Board of Directors retreat. Kim Wisdom and Carmen Field generously gifted us with a wonderful week of their rental home on the Colorado Arroyo in Hondo, Texas. It was a beautiful, restful place that created an amazing time for us, working and resting and crafting our vision. And while there, our focus and next steps became clear. One point of clarity arrived when the team came looking for me, and they found me throwing axes under Carmen and Kim's porch. Yes, we decided we needed to have one of those axe throwing games at Sanctuary. Did you know you can get a Velcro game? Fun and safe. So back to the focus and our clarity. Our time together on this retreat got us excited about all the different kinds of events we could host at Sanctuary. And our focus became sharing this beautiful space with more people. So, as Ken shared, we began enhancing the Sanctuary property. First, we had to clean up after the February ice storm, and we had lots of help. Brandy and Kim, Blake and Bill, Velma and Darlene, Becky, Dwayne, Darcel, Mark and Cielo, and more of Tom's family, Kevin and Kim. Y'all cleaned up fallen trees and branches and debris, and with the chainsaws added a large new stack of firewood. Thank you all so much. You were our first and very important volunteers of 2023. With your help cleaning the property, we could then move on to improving and enhancing Sanctuary. Remember the Help Ken and Tom replace their special tree fundraiser? Well, your response was tremendous. Thank you so much for your donations. So many of you contributed, and with Bud Twilley at the helm, we were able to clear the large front yard you see when you first drive into the front entrance and plant that large new tree there as the centerpiece of that area. We then transplanted 2 large yucca trees into the yard to create a wonderful beginning to what we hope will be a large flower garden in the future, maybe enough flowers to sell and create an income stream. At the same time, Bud helped us upgrade and beautify our front entrance with stonework and low maintenance plants. With all this beauty and our Sanctuary stone, your GPS is so right when you turn into the property and it says, "You have arrived." As we walk further into the property, especially at night, you'd notice the most traveled areas are well lit. We set up the lighting deliberately for La Posada, an event that's in the evening and includes children walking all around the property. Now, many of you helped install the lighting and prepare the property. We want to thank Manuel and Terry, Sue and Ann, Bill and Blake, and our Posada leader, Amanda Alvarez. We couldn't have hosted La Posada without all of y'all's help. And oh yes, sorry, Willie. Oh, there he is. You did lead the procession with a little encouragement from Blake. And now, with all this new lighting, we're prepared to host this year's La Posada, as well as other evening events. Thank you all for both your financial and your physical sweat equity. Like many other people living in this area, and as Kristen has alluded to, we lost a lot of trees due to drought and the freeze. And since the freeze cleanup, we've been slowly and sadly taking them down as safety dictates. When one of the largest trees located between the pool and the fire pit had to come down, we almost cried. It was a tall, straight, 2-foot wide tree and had shaded the area wonderfully for decades. We wondered what we could put in its place. It was such a centerpiece. We looked at its beauty and decided it could still be a centerpiece for the area. We had the trunk cut off tabletop high and kept the long, straight top of the trunk to hopefully slice and create a cocktail height tabletop someday. Shall we start a fundraiser?
Yes.
On to the organic garden, where we added 2 more raised beds, and the garden is already producing. This past Friday night, we all enjoyed fresh picked and grilled squash. Yum. And in a few weeks, we'll have even more delicious veggies ready to eat and with plenty more to share. We can take some of these freshly picked veggies to our upgraded and freshly painted kitchen and prepare something like eggplant parmesan to share at an on-site event, or with our online sanctuary friends and family with Sanctuary Kitchen. As Ken mentioned, we're especially excited about sharing our bounty with friends and family and expanding our reach to provide fresh organic vegetables to local food banks. Your donations have funded a major part of these upgrades and enhancements. Some upgrades have added to the beauty of the property. Others have made it safer and more effective for hosting events. As we move into 2024, our goal is to continue to make improvements that provide a more welcoming space for hosting all sorts of events. Our goals as we move into the next 2 years include creating the recreation space, yes, for axe throwing and cornhole and other things, rebuilding the fire pit, finding more ways to share our gardens, creating that tree stump tabletop, and refreshing our signature entryway sanctuary stone with a professional cleaning. We are so grateful to all of you for your support, prayers, and encouragement, because it's you, through your donations and volunteering, that makes Sanctuary the wonderful experience that it is. Together, we continue to expand the ways in which we serve our community on this beautiful, sacred land. Thanks, Jovi.
Thank you, honey. And thank you for that section on site development. And I know everyone here is probably chomping at the bit to get to my favorite part of the presentation, the numbers, which will make my head hurt and maybe yours as well. One of the things that we want to just share with you today is a short video of Flo. And it's shocking, one, how beautiful she is, right? We always, as soon as she comes up in the morning, Cheryl and I are having our coffee, and as soon as the sun hits the solar panels, she pops up. We're like, Flo's awake, you know? And you can hear her all throughout the property. It's just, she's just added so much. So again, what an amazing, and thank you for all of you who contributed to our Giving Tuesday in 2022, because Flo has changed us. So I want to give you a minute to do 2 things. Make sure your background noise is kind of low, and make sure your laptop or your phone volume is maxed. I'm going to share the screen. and we can all just breathe in about 45 seconds of flow.
It is evening and flow is slowly slowing down. But I thought I'd get back here and see if you could just listen to her for a minute and allow that to calm you and just notice how beautiful she sounds. Yeah, she's beautiful to the eye, to the ear, and she's helping aerate all of the water underneath there for our gorgeous fishies. Sanctuary in the woods, sanctuary pond.
I hope you could hear that okay. Isn't that great? Is she, that's an evening shot, so she's kind of about half as big as she is in the full sun. Hopefully, as the presentation goes on, you'll be able to see a few of the photographs where she's just doing her thing. So, Cheryl, it is time for you and Barb to bring us some numbers, baby. Let's do this.
All right, I know it's your favorite part, Joe.
It sure is.
Okay, so we've already shared a lot with you about how your donations, resources, and volunteering made 2023 an amazingly successful year. And now Barb and I want to share some of the specifics. During 2023, we had more than 25 volunteers on site and online, helping with event presentations, land maintenance, ice storm cleanup, and book club. And some of you volunteered multiple times. You're a very necessary part of our team, and we're so very grateful for you. And we also had some very specific types of resources. Kim and Carmen's cottage donation, Michael's installation skills, Kristen's social media skills, Kelly's financial skills, Blake's artistic and website skills, and Bud's financial landscaping skills. Together, you all saved us thousands of dollars, and we thank you so very, very much. Our total income was about $1,000 more than in 2022, with donations continuing to be the primary source of our income. We're so grateful for all of you who honored Sanctuary with your financial support through donations and through fundraisers. Thank you. And a very special shout out to our regular monthly donors. Almost 2/3 of our 2023 income came from you. That's huge. Your regular giving is so important to us. It allows us to budget and plan and decide what projects and events to focus on. We cherish you. And we would be delighted to help all y'all that would like 2024 to be the year you become a Sanctuary in the Woods monthly donor. Just let us know in the chat. In addition to donations, fundraisers are very important to us. Barb, can you tell us a little bit about our 2023 fundraisers?
Sure. Thanks, Cheryl. As you saw in the pie chart, fundraising is important to supplement the 2/3 of our income that comes from monthly donors. In 2023, we expanded fundraising beyond just Giving Tuesday. We continued to sell the Sanctuary Kitchen cookbooks, adding $600, and we now have more than covered the publication costs, and we still have books. So if somehow you've managed to still not have one, please put your name in the chat and we'll connect with you after the meeting. Every book we sell now is pure profit for us. During the year, we benefited from Facebook fundraisers, including birthdays and the A Tree for Ken and Tom fundraiser to replace their special tree that was lost in the ice storm. You all and the others in the Sanctuary Woods community contributed $1,550 to the tree fundraiser, which allowed us to purchase a more mature tree, have it planted, and relocate some other plants to create a feature near the front of the property. It was an amazing response and ended up being our second highest individual event fundraiser of the year after Giving Tuesday. We had 5 birthday fundraisers generating $1,312, which helped our operations and continue site development for us. Giving Tuesday brought in an additional $2,422, and our total fundraising for the year was $5,457. In a tough year, that was within about $400 of our record from 2022. So we felt really good about that and really grateful to all of our supporters. Many thanks to Brandy and Kim and Darcel and Joe and Cheryl and Darlene for thinking of us on their birthdays, and to all who donated to those birthday fundraisers as well. Collectively, these fundraisers provide a foundation for us to expand our services and build capacity for Sanctuary in the Woods. Now, just a word more about Giving Tuesday. You may have noticed that our total on Giving Tuesday was lower than in 2022, and we were not alone in that experience. Early analysis indicates that most nonprofit organizations that participated in both 22 and 23 saw a decline in 2023. This is a trend we're watching closely, including Grace. If you have any insights about your experiences with Giving Tuesday, we'd love to hear them. Please either type them in the chat or contact us after the meeting to discuss. And mark your calendars, we do plan to participate again in 2024. This year, Giving Tuesday will be on December 3rd, which is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving in the United States. In case last year's blip turns into a trend, we are planning additional fundraising in 2024. Most importantly, our Sanctuary at Sea cruise to celebrate Ken and Tom's 50th anniversary. If you haven't yet signed up, hang in there a little longer. It's almost time. It's not too late to join the fun, and Joe will tell you more about it in a few minutes. Now back to Cheryl.
Thanks, Barb. That was awesome. So we started 2023 with over $15,000, and with both fundraisers and donations, we added another $22,000 during the year, which gave us $37,000 to work with throughout 2023. Our major site development projects included landscaping, enhanced lighting, pond improvements, and kitchen upgrades. Those projects account for $22,000 of investment in Sanctuary. With $4,000 in Sanctuary Online and other operational costs, our 2023 expenditures totaled $26,000. And as you recall from the last slide, that left us with a balance of $11,000 at the end of 2023, which is now available for more expansion work in 2024. For 2024, we've already started developing our new recreation area, and yes, it does include that Velcro axe throwing game. In order to meet our 2024 goals, we're projecting a budget of $27,000. We expect income from monthly donations, hopefully a few more of these, and from fundraisers, including our November Celebrate Ken and Tom's 50th cruise, as well as a few more cookbook sales. We anticipate expenses to include $22,000 for site development and $5,000 for Sanctuary Online and other operational expenses. We are excited for what 2024 has in store for us, and we are so glad that you are on this journey with us. And now back to my wonderful and most amazing wife, Joby. Are you still awake?
I am awake, honey, but I had to mute because the dogs, someone obviously came on the property, and our security system, you know, the Labrador and Barb's ferocious little had a moment. So anyway, Cheryl, I think I may have misplaced one of your slides, and I don't want to miss it because it is the coolest slide when we get to thank folks. Like you said earlier, so many folks gifted us, not with like a financial gift, but a gift that was worth a lot of money. And so just going to flip this back again. Kim and Carmen gifted us those amazing accommodations on the Rio Hondo for our board retreat. And Michael, dear God, putting in flow and wiring everything with her solar panels, Kristen coming aboard and not having us to have to hire someone to share our communications and put our communication back together. Kelly always in our accounting, behind the scenes but really helping to keep us making sure everything's properly taken care of. Blake always with our website. And as you said this year, Bud Twilley and his crew have given us so much great advice and given us, I think, the friends and family price when he knows he's working for Sanctuary. And that's a big part of a gift from Bud as well. So thank you again to all of you who support us with prayers, with your dreams, with your lives, with your finances, and with your gifts. We never want to stop saying thank you. With that said, we are coming to the top of the hour, and it's my job to close us up, my friends. But I want to do that honestly, simply by saying thank you. I want to first say thank you to Ken and Kristen and to Barb and Cheryl for those really informative presentation. Thank you for the hours of work you've put in and you gifted Sanctuary with. It's important that to us, it feels very important that we continue to be able to honor all of you who support us with kind of an accounting of sorts each year in this annual report, and also to tell the story of our forever becoming a place that is so special to so many people. Thanks also to each of you who are here joining us live this afternoon. You're welcome again, Marlon, for getting you out of outside chores. And for the rest of you, like me, that have the Masters on pause and is recorded, I'll watch that this evening. And we never presume that an hour of your time on a beautiful Sunday afternoon is to be taken for granted. So we hope during this last hour that you learned a lot, that you feel reinvested in your role of how you inspire us to continue creating this amazing space and community of healing and love. Since its inception, Sanctuary in the Woods has always been a place of peace and people, of conversations and community, and of laughter and love and personal and spiritual expansion. Our story and our journey continues to be one of continually becoming and of gratefulness. We thank God we've trusted in and leaned on God's timing, that we didn't rush into building everything in 2019. We would have built a property that probably doesn't serve our community as well as today's does. We thank God we risked expanding our online presence in 2020. We launched Sanctuary Online, which has allowed us to welcome so many of you who without Zoom on our Tuesday nights may have never found us out here in the woods. That one decision to become an online community has forever changed us and has allowed us to expand our network exponentially and more quickly than we ever would have or could have had we stayed local and only really opened our gate to the folks who could drive through it. Going online allowed us to dream bigger than we ever had and to listen with an even more open mind and heart to all that's possible when we have a truly global and international reach. And speaking of that global and international reach, my role here today is to close by answering the question we hope is on the tip of each of your tongues. How can you get even more involved with all that we're doing here at Sanctuary? So I'd love to say first, thank you for that question. And I've got a few answers for you, a number of ways that you or anyone in the world can become a part of our ever expanding Sanctuary community. First off, our Sanctuary online presence really served a niche when we were doing our weekly Tuesday events when everybody was on lockdown. But as the world changed, we listened and we adjusted our online presence. We realized that a weekly presence wasn't serving the needs of our community any longer. And we love, though, that we've got a very loyal group of folks who love to read, and we've developed and maintained our monthly online Sanctuary Book Club. We have read over 35 books since we started, and you can still join us. We're meeting this month on Monday, April 22nd. We're reading Bless Me Ultima, Kathleen, by Rudolfo Anaya. And here's the cool thing. If you don't think you can read the whole book in a week, we don't care. People join book club, whether they've read the book, whether they've heard of the book, whether they intend to ever read the book, because it's just a fabulous place to come and have rigorous conversation and wonderful love. So Monday night, April 22nd. Find us the way you found us today, just by typing sanctuaryonline.live into your browser. Now, the second thing, the reason why you can become involved with this, I've talked about today, it's the return of Sanctuary at Sea. We are returning to the seas on Carnival Cruise Line, and we went in 2018, 2019, COVID hit, and we're back. This time we're going for a bit of a longer cruise, and it's celebrating Tom and Ken's 50 years of being in love and serving the world with their loving partnership. And for those of you who've known Ken and Tom throughout a few of those decades, right, Cynthia? Can you even imagine a world without them in it? So on Friday, I know, Cynthia, thank you. November 1st, we're going to gather in Galveston for our pre-cruise dinner, where all the 2024 cruisers will meet each other, some of them for the very first time. And on Saturday, we'll take off out of the port of Galveston on the Carnival Dream. And we're going to hit Key West and Freeport and Half Moon Key and Nassau. And we will return to Galveston Sunday morning, November 10th. We'll, of course, have our signature meals together, a million laughs and hugs and excursions and events and contests, and all fun and all designed by our amazing cruise team, Tony Krug, Marilyn Wagner, and Bill Cashin. A little bit of shout out to them. Those folks with Ellen have been on the same cruise team since we started cruising, and they know what they're doing. So we just get out of their way and magic happens. We'd love for any of you to come. If you'd like to come, pop out your chat box, put your name in there and hit cruise, and we'll get information fired out to you right away. The third way, we hope to invite people into a journey with Sanctuary, a journey that's even mightier than one on the high seas, is through an invitation to join us in what we now know to be life transforming, a multi-month programming event, and we're going to unveil this huge work. It's a completely redesigned version of CLM, or Creating a Life That Matters. For those of you that are unfamiliar with CLM, Ken and Cheryl and I were part of a team that wrote the original version in 2004, and we launched it internationally in 2005. It was a 3-course, 18-session curriculum that was taught in small groups of 20 to 24 people at a time. And over 15 years, CLM was being taught all over the world. We've certified over 100 facilitators. We have thousands upon thousands of graduates in this program in multiple countries. CLM was actually still being taught right up until COVID closed us all down. So we've already put countless hours into focus groups, creating avatar participants. We have the bulk of the first 2 courses already redesigned for virtual delivery. We have more content to finish by far this summer, infrastructure and delivery to be put in place. And as you can imagine, CLM will become Sanctuary's flagship programming offering. And we'd really appreciate your prayers for a continued creative progress. Rewriting something that has stood the test of time, that has made such an impact on so many people in our world is a bit of a daunting task. Since it was written, think about this, CLM was actually written before the iPhone existed, before you could Google for any answer whatsoever. And as we've redone this, it's still good. It's got all the bones, but we're just creating it for today's world of spirituality. And man, if you'd like to be involved, once again, toss your name in the chat, write CLM, and we'll reach out to you when it's time. I do want to say we think by late summer we'll know if we're going to launch this fall or if we're going to launch in early 2025 to a virtual world. You know, our aim, of course, within everything that we do is to ensure that we remain relevant, to stay true to and guided by our initial vision, to bring quality connections to our community. And at our core, we remain facilitators and teachers and clergy and coaches called to create space, be it brick and mortar or virtually over the internet. As you've heard multiple times this afternoon, we are committed to maintaining our hybrid model where both paths, online or on site, will lead you to Sanctuary, where you have arrived, where people are safe, are heard, are challenged, and are loved. So in 2024, here's my invitation, folks. Join us for a monthly book club. Join us in November for Sanctuary at Sea. Join us for CLM. We promise it'll be one of the most transformational rides of your life. Join us on site. Come onto the property. There's always fish to be caught and goats to hug. And there's good work that will ground you and help you build and beautify the property for others to enjoy. Join us as a significant volunteer. We have a number of roles that need filling. Thank you, Kristen. One more shout out for just answering that call. Put your name in the chat, put the word volunteer, and one of us will reach out to you. And finally, just I hope you've heard us say thank you over and over to those of you who have helped us and supported us financially. We're a nonprofit, right? None of us take a salary. Sorry, Kristen. Were we clear on that? I'm not sure. Yeah. Everything that we do here is a gift unto ourselves, unto all those who experience us, unto the planet. So think about becoming a regular donor. That regular amount coming in, as Cheryl showed, allows us to budget for all of our projects and expansion, and just settles us, right? So we know what we can do. If you want to be a person, thank you. Some of you just send in a check, or some of you just slip us a check at a function. If you want to host a Facebook fundraiser, or if you're one of those people who support and respond to those fundraisers, again, thank you. Because without your financial support, everything good that we're doing here on site, at sea, and online would grind to a halt. So, my friends, thank you. If you'd like to help in any way there, you can again reach out in the chat or reach out privately to Cheryl. She keeps a tight rein on all of our finances, and she ensures that every dollar we spend is spent thoughtfully in support of all that we've promised to you. Oh, please know how deeply we hold each of you in our hearts. For those folks who are here today, for those folks who listen online, for those who couldn't make it, we feel your prayers. We feel your support. We feel and hear your encouragement in so many ways. So please stay connected. You'll be hearing from us, I mean, Kristen, in our regular emails, on our social media posts, on our website. Stay up to date. And thank you for sharing time with us this afternoon. I am going to stop our recording. And then, like I said, a couple of us will be happy to stay on if you have any questions. And let me just make sure I can stop the recording quickly. And thank you again. This has been 2023 and a peek into 2024 from Sanctuary in the Woods.
Beautifully done, guys. What a team.